Okay, in panel discussion, I will ask the 5 panelists. I'll introduce one by one. Mr. Norihiro Kimura, Deputy Director of METI, and second, Mr. Chin Kok Bu, Deputy Director, Ministry of Industry and Trade of Vietnam, MOIT. And third, Mr. Hideo Kubota, Technical Expert from ECCJ. And fourth, Ms. Le Tan Tao, from actually a country representatives from UNIDO in Vietnam. And fifth, Mr. Septia Buntara Shupendi, Manager, RE Department, ASEAN Center for Energy, ACE. Next slide, please. Okay, here I show the agenda. Agenda is direction of public-private cooperation to promote energy conservation by establishing energy management system. So at first, I'd like to ask each panelist to provide some comments and opinions or suggestions, especially on the issues and requirements, also the solutions or actions. Maybe this may include some challenges from the viewpoints and standpoints of each panelist. So I'd like to start the comments from the panelists. So I'd like to first I'd like to invite Mr. Norihiro Kimura for your comments or suggestions, opinions on this agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Yoshida, for your introduction. From me, from the viewpoint of Japanese government, I'd like to share Japan's experience on public-private cooperation. In fact, Japanese energy efficiency policy have encouraged action towards energy efficiency through collaboration between private and public sectors, combining regulation and the financial support. So as for the regulation, as you know, the Energy Efficiency Act requires a company to report their energy consumption and set an energy efficiency target for improvement. So for effective implementation, we carefully reviewed and evaluated all the submitted reports and categorized them into 4 categories, SABC classes. And so if you get a company get S evaluation, their name will be published on the METI website. And in some cases, if the company apply to the subsidies, they can get additional point because of S evaluation. So that means that will enable the company to get subsidies more easily. On the other hand, if you get C classes evaluation, METI will directly provide guidance or direction to improve their energy management. So through this process, regulation also will provide motivation with a company to improve their energy efficiency. Of course, not only regulation, but also we provide financial support to introduce energy efficiency equipment and R&D activities, which is through subsidies and tax incentives. So yeah, and also it's for subsidies not only for domestic activities, but also international activities, which was raised in the previous discussion that we have a NEDO financial support to develop and implement international collaboration project to achieve energy efficiency in a foreign country, in Vietnam. So Through these activities, we can promote energy efficiency through public and private collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kimura. Very useful comments based on the Japanese policy and regulation, including a supporting system. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Chen Quoc Vu from Vietnam for your comments. Mr. Vu, please. Please summarize in 2 minutes. Are there, Mr. Vu? Yes.
Regarding the government of Vietnam's policies in promoting PPP in energy efficiency and conservation, in Vietnam we have the EENC law. According to the law, the businesses that use energy a lot, for example, more than 1,000 TOE for the businesses in the industrial transport sector, and more than 500 TOE for the buildings and construction projects. So they have to follow and implement obligations stated under the law, and that means they have to do the energy audit, and they are responsible to provide reports on annual basis to the government under the EE plan for the subsequent years, and as well as for the 5-year period to the government. And in addition, the MOIT of Vietnam has developed the regulations on the energy use norm in the chemical and steel industry, in the paper and plastic industry, and in the fishery processing and sugarcane production industry. And the businesses in these key sectors have to comply with the energy use norm in producing 1 unit of product. And annually, we collaborate with the Provincial Department of Industry and Trade in terms of monitoring, supervision, and giving some kind of reminders to them. And in addition, in order to, promote the typical examples of energy efficiency. Annually, we organize the contest of, for example, the energy efficiency buildings and others in order to promote the examples of energy efficiency and savings in the market. In addition, we also provide technical support to the businesses through the National Program on Energy Efficiency, as well as the National Target Programs in the last 10 years. This TA support helps the businesses to conduct energy audit or to develop the investment plan so that they can, implement their investment decision with the energy efficiency solutions and technologies. We plan to develop a national fund to promote EENC. This is within the national program which was approved by the Prime Minister of Vietnam.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vu. Also introducing some progress in the energy conservation through the policy and regulation. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Hideo Kubota for your comments, suggestions. Mr. Kubota, please.
Yes. Talking about the energy management system, I think there is some limitation for the result. This is related to my presentation. Through the PDCA cycle from the energy management system, but the solution actually implemented is a low cost or no cost and easily can perform. But the higher effective solution is needed some investment. So and in my presentation, I mentioned about the subsidy or some financial support from the government, but the government's support is also limited. And on the other hand, there is many international funds, like NEDO or UNIDO or some green fund in these days, so many funds, but the application is so strict and sometimes so complicated. So I propose there should be some support system for the application to find out some funds can be used. This kind of support will to realize and can be it's break through the limitation of the result of the energy saving result. This is my proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Kubota, for your comments, and including suggestions. Implementation is very important. So this is a good point. And next, I'd like to invite Ms. Le Tan Thao from UNIDO in Vietnam. Ms. Le Tan Thao is there?
Okay, she's speaking. She's speaking and I'm translating.
Okay, please.
On behalf of UNIDO and based on our experience in promoting energy efficiency in industry in Vietnam, I think in order to enhance energy management system in industries, there are four main actors that should take action. And from the government, there should be an institutional system to monitor the energy efficiency activities and then create incentives and then also a punishment system to really enforce, especially at the designated energy units. For the business and enterprise, we understand that the awareness from the top leaders from the firms in Vietnam is still very low. So we need to involve the top management leaders from the firms to be involved, and then how to help them, and then the implementation to overcome the resistance to the new change at the factory, at the operational level. And at the consulting provider for energy efficiency, they still lack of the knowledge and also consulting skills to provide energy management system services. And then the last one is the certification and system auditor bodies. They also lack of the capacity to conduct the system audit. So in order to have really a transformation on energy management standards, there should be capacity building to all these stakeholders so that we can create a greater impact in Vietnam. Thank you.
Very much, Ms. Le Tan Thao. It is a very good suggestions, comments from the energy management system point of view. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Sepucia Buntara Spendi from Indonesia. Ace, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I couldn't agree more with Mr. Kubota and Ms. Le Tan Thao recently, because one of the take out from our discussion with our ASEAN member states is the issue of ownership. A lot of energy management program carry on a lot of support coming from the other region. However, within the member states, somehow we still need a proper institutional arrangement to support this program ahead. Beside of that, the second issue is we have to know where is the end game of this energy management. A lot of initiative coming on board, a lot of support coming to the region, mentioning it can contribute to the climate change action. A part of that, from the session and presentation, we notice cost saving is one of the most influential factor that we can move forward this energy management system, especially in the industry. This is the great factor of success for energy management in the future for ASEAN. One of the good example, I think, carried out by our earlier presentation by Mr. Zamora, We have cooperation under our ASEAN Plus 3. We name it Clean Energy Future Initiative under cooperation with and leading by Japan. On this, we consider one of the flagship program, we name it Renke Control on demand side management, which attract a lot of interest on cost saving from industry. So time to time, we not only focusing on the cost saving, but later at the end, it will support the government to tackle climate change in the future. So I think it will be beneficial in terms of in terms of the industry and scale up into the national level and at the end to the global level. So I think this is very good example coming from that initiative. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seputia, for your good comments based on the observation from the ASEAN. Also considering some points for the climate or environment and demand side control. So now we had comments and suggestions or opinions from the 5 panelists. So next, I'd like to move on to the actual discussion, at first among the panelists. So if you have any opinion, comments to the other panelists, please provide your comments or maybe some questions, okay? Mr. Kimura, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the panelists for your comments. And I heard from UNIDO in Vietnam representative that I heard that Mr. Kubota pointed out that there is some difficulty in applying to the subsidy provided by international organization. And now we have a UNIDO representative in the panel. So if from your viewpoint, do you have any suggestion or any actions to utilize subsidy from international organization more easily or more effectively? Do you have any suggestion?
Okay, how about?
We are a technical assistance agency, but indeed during our project, we're also providing the support for the firms to get access to finance. And yeah, so from our experience, there are 2 sides of the game. First is from the firms. We need to really help them to prepare a bankable project that is in line with the requirement of the loan providers. And then also from the financial institution, we need to build the capacity to do the evaluation, to do the eligibility appraisal of the bankable proposals, because the bank normally they provide a loan to like a real estate or based on business plan, but these are energy efficient and it related to technology. So how to help them to really understand and make sure that these bankable are feasible are important. And then we could facilitate the demand and the supply side to meet with each other. And of course, from the commercial bank, the procedures needs to be simplified. And then also there should be more incentives and subsidy provided into this still very new areas in Vietnam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is an also very important point to enhance the public and private cooperation. And also from the viewpoint on the future direction of EMAK to contribute the private public-private cooperation. If you have any comments or opinions, please provide your comments and opinions. At first, from panelists. Okay. Mr. Kimura, please.
Sorry for taking floor again. Actually, Mr. Supendi mentioned about Cephia. This is Japan's proposal and initiative to cooperate with ASEAN on, of course, which include energy efficiency and energy management and renewable and any other cleaner technology diffusion. As you know, there are two or three flagship projects, such as Renke, which you mentioned, and also ZEB, Net Zero Energy Buildings project. And but I think maybe there are another needs or room for a new project which might be coming from ASEAN side or Vietnam and any other countries. So do you have any specific idea or needs for a future Cephia project?
So, Mr. Spendi, please comment.
Thank you very much. That's a very good question and very tangible actually to shape our future action on this matter, Mr. Kimura. There are one thing that we need to consider when we want to shape the future initiative. First is on the uniqueness of the ASEAN member states. The condition, I mean, we hope we can close the gaps among the ASEAN member states who already have energy management in place, including like Vietnam. However, like another country like CLM or even like Brunei Darussalam, they still need more support to enhance the energy management system. On top of that, if we want to conclude the concrete things we can do for future, first, I think a guideline is necessary for us to establish. Why? With a guideline, we can have a standard document what kind of energy management that we want to have in industry and building. Data we already gather by our awards arrangement. So I think that's possible. And considering the very close engagement within the ASEAN Center for Energy and Japan through ECCJ, for example, we did a lot of measurements, energy audit, and program certifications. So this is very useful. Second one, of course, I think mentioned by our colleague from Vietnam is the capacity building continuously and of course we need to see the need and the priority from each country because the government has different kind of priority. And the third one is we have initiative on energy management certifications that we translate into proposal by the ASEAN Center for Energy, which gaining support from our energy efficiency and conservation subsector network or ENCSSN to move this forward. I think we can have a close cooperation to enlarge the energy management initiative in the future. So I think that would be my answer on that. Thank you, Mr. Kimura, again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Spendi. So next, okay. So I'd like to move on to some comments and opinions from the Vietnam side. May I ask Mr. Vu to comment or to provide us with your comments or opinions on the, especially on the public-private cooperation related to the energy management action networks in the future, based on your experiences?
I agreed with the recommendations of the panelist for Vietnam. Going forward, we would focus on enhancing the quality of the energy management systems in the key energy users. And during the past 10 years, we have promoted the businesses to, establish their energy management systems. And going forward, this system would play more important role. And that from energy consumption, the businesses have to identify the solutions for themselves, and energy management system and energy audit can only be effective and efficient by then. Now I would like to invite the opinion and comments from some experts. First of all, I'd like to invite Professor Nghĩa. My name is Trương Duy Nghĩa, an energy expert. And through the career of my life, I have worked a lot in energy efficiency and conservation. And I would say that the workshop today is very significant in terms of implementing energy efficiency and conservation. And in addition to saving, we need to highlight the words energy efficiency. And I would like to raise a question. I do not know who I would address the question to, but I would like to ask Mr. Kubota and Mr. Tada, from the energy efficiency and saving perspective, I would say that when I, talk with the people from other countries, they limit the production or the translation from thermal to power, and that they would limit the transmission from power to thermal, and there are countries that prohibit the power turning into thermal. And in Vietnam, this is also a popular issue. And I would like to, ask the question to our Japanese colleagues. This question does not relate to the policy or financing mechanism. But still, I think, the issue is very significant for energy saving. So my question to Japan is, are you interested in this aspect? And even though Vietnam and Japan differ in terms of economic management, but I would like to hear some kind of, sharings from Japan, and whether in Japan you are interested in this aspect or not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Vâng. Xin cảm ơn rất là nhiều câu hỏi vừa rồi.
It's okay. I think this includes some questions, and another important point is on some of the conversion from electricity to thermal energy, something like that. So this is also very important management of energy resources to achieve the more efficient supply, also the consumption of the energy by the users. So maybe I think today we don't have much time to discuss the details, but for the another opportunities, we'll provide this kind of discussion in Vietnam in the future. It's okay?